Hello everyone, I'm Rob Smithy in the Black Quant VTF here, T3 Live with the weekend market breakdown. And after 5 years of putting this out every weekend for you, we're going to take it in-house for T3. So love to have you join me. Obviously, I've done a lot for a lot of people over the years, and now we're just going to take it in-house. So hopefully you can continue to join me each weekend. And if you'd like to do that, you can call 888-998-3548 or email customer service at t3live.com to continue to get this every weekend, breaking it down for you. Let's get to it. All right, so we start off with the SPY, and boy, they wanted to try and hit them, but they sure did a whole bunch of nothing. So SPY does this here. Almost gets the inside week, and so we're going to have a lot of inside weeks. We're going to know exactly where we're focused, like in the oil market last week. But here you can see just coming right back up, hammer on the weekly. Here, doji hammer, so we get the spike up, we got the site spike down, back in the middle. So as you're going to see here, it's going to be sector by sector, probably again here. But we do have that hammer there, and you got QQQ going inside weak near the highs as technology and the biotechs to a certain extent, as you're going to see, are going to continue to be focused here. So we've got an inside week for the Qs, so we'll see how that can break. You've got Apple here going inside week here. There's another doji inside hammer to see if they want to just keep powering this technology. As we get to that section, you'll see it's still hanging tough. You know, when people are going, oh, the market's rolling over because they're looking at the SPY doing this. You're like, oh my God, it's down 5 days in a row, and then pops right back up. Meanwhile, QQQ does this, hanging right near the highs. So if we go to the small cappers had a little bit tougher of a week, and remember we were talking about that because of the outside bar fractal triangle and then shooting star against it, and that made it force that to be a lot weaker. However, not the end of the world, and just comes into something like this now, daily hammer to start off, so not the end of the world, but some slight underperformance there last week. Now we're just starting off as a hammer like a whole bunch of things. TLT, however, also daily hammer, but on the month, also slightly kicking variation inside month and to the downside. And so for the bonds, we're still potentially looking for something like this, down sideways measured move, and crap them into here. So long as TLT is below 118.47, we're going to continue to look on the short side there. SVXY, ripper, it's still being inside month, but it takes the inside week up. It doesn't go to new all-time highs, but certainly when you see this sector rotation like we've seen in the lethargic broader averages, that's going to keep the contango and the VIX options, and that's going to keep these things going. So no new actionable signal there going forward. If we go to the Dow Jones Diamonds, inside week, and so all these inside weeks are going to be real important here to see if the market's finally going to pull in, or if we're just going to keep chugga, because you can see here no lower lows on the week since the RevStrat week that went up to 20,000. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks without a lower low. Now we've got the inside week to keep an eye on. You've got Boeing as an inside week after a nice big run there. You've got Cat Tractor. And a lot of people ask me about Cat. Is Cat going to crap out? Well, Cat does this in a monthly. It is red on the month and comes down here, but you can see this range is still somewhat intact, and so it's not the end of the world for Cat. And Cat going to start off as an inside day here, so we'll see how that starts off the week with that inside day. You've got Walt Disney World going inside on the week here, so still trying to do the very gradual walk up of this stuff here like that. Now you've got the inside week, Dow Jones Diamonds and Disney and McDonald's going inside week there. And still, like a lot of these things, when we start chugging in bull market land to see if it can go to all-time highs and reverse all this stuff. But for right now, you just got an inside week in McDonald's. You've got Mr. Softy, Microsoft. You see this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks completely within this bar's range. So what that gives you is the inside month. So that would go inside month above 65.24. Try and go inside month and up for you. UNH momentum hammer monthly still in force here above this, and going out on the highs, albeit gradual, but it is what it is. And you can see this daily, chop them up a little bit, but now trying to go into the highs. So that momentum hammer still in force. We just need, for the rest of the month, so long as it's above that, we just need more shorter term signals. Coke still trying to get out of the ashes here. Inside week, hammer. And we know that this XLP This has been going up, and you've had Pepsi, and you've got Dr. Pepper, so all these defensive names, that's going inside week. KMB going inside week because we've seen stuff like Clorox and Colgate just rock here. So we'll see if Coke can finally turn it around there. If we go to the transports, and you see the weekly here, not doing much right inside there. So here, if you go to the daily, you're going to see this. Here, you'll see this triangle here for the trannies. Higher highs, lower lows, and so we're watching this triangle, an inside day for the transports. American Airlines, just coming off like this, and you can see here in American, if you go to the monthly stuff, you see here it's slowly trying to put in this lower high, but now outside month here, but it's just right in this neighborhood, so I'm not really seeing too much in there. And because of how it acted this week, if it pops up, good chance it goes inside week here if it doesn't take out those lows. Because United Airlines still stuck in this range up in here, still needs to get out of that here. If we go to Delta last week, you can see this still in this range, albeit last week did take the rev strat down like we were looking for, but a bunch of that stuff's just still range bound. So we can look at something like JetBlue, which would be weekly hammer to try and get out of this because it's on the monthly. It's one of those things that's trying to take this monthly hammer back up. So you're starting off the week with potential weekly and monthly hammer for JetBlue. If we go to CSX Choo-Choo, still up in the sky there and still just can't crack it. You can see slowly and gradually walking up like this here. Like that. Now just going inside day here to see if this is just this is all you get. It's a little pullback and then right back up. Because if you go to Norfolk Southern does this. The weekly still in here, right, inside week. Let's see, no, it took it up by a few cents, so technically this would be a rev strat back up, but it's 2 weeks completely within that bar's pattern, so a little tough there. If we take a look at something like CP Rail, really tightening up, and still, this you can see how this monthly breaks. You can see it's 6-7 months in this range. Eventually, this inside month has to break, so we'll be aware of that when that happens, because UPS is in purgatory. We know that. Doji month inside, and that's whenever you see these big bars and you can't get out of them, they're going to just chop you up in here, and so we're going to be careful on that. FedEx not doing much either. But we've got Avis going inside week here. And so we'll see how that goes, because you got that with Hertz, if they want to put these guys out of their misery, if there's any hope. If we go to the Utes, XLU not doing too much here either. Backs off just a tad a little bit here, and you can see this. The lower lows, the higher highs, like so. And so if we go under EXC, what you're going to see here is potential rev strat week here. Inside bar countered with hammer back in. That would go rev strat week above 36.36. NEE going here inside week to see if there's got any more of this powerhouse in it to try and take all that stuff out. NEE is also pulled back here, starting off as a hammer here, so it's inside day and potential rev strat week there if the Utes start going. Go to the REITs, oh boy, REITs got pummeled. Beautiful triangle there. We had that drawn and bam. So over there, a lot of that stuff's been blown out to a certain extent. If you go to this KIM, that's why we like to go back to those monthly charts and be like, oh, man, it's down from 32 to 21. I'm like, and if you go way back in time, though, and you look at these bigger charts and be like, how ugly could some of this stuff get? Could get mighty ugly. You can see how all this work starting to get wiped out. So interesting there in the REIT stuff. You go to XME. XME still pulling in, as you can see that. XME did the momentum shooter like we were looking for last week here. Momentum shooting star and down, which now gives you this as the week is now exhausted. Triangle like that to see how it gets out of here. Daily, not quite an inside day, just slight lower low, but see if this continues, they're going to try and bring her back up. If we go to gold culprit and the GLD, and we knew we were looking at all this mess in here to triangle back down, which it has. Like that, so you get these higher highs like this, and now you're taking out all these lows. So you're just back into this range, and no actionable signal I don't have on that. And so if you go to silver got clobbered here. Silver had a real rough week. And so like something when you see silver like getting hit like that, if you go to the weekly, The best thing this thing could probably do is go inside weak, and so you can be aware of that because GDX here, the GDX, you can see that was backing off already. We knew that, and the GDX actually acted better last week than the metals itself. So if we take a look at AEM here, it's going to give you a weekly hammer. If we start to see the gold rally, you got AEM, you got ABX, and ABX is interesting here because either a weekly hammer can take this back up, or if it starts to fail, it's also a monthly shooter. So we'll see how that underlier goes. If there's any more weakness in the gold, if we go to FNV is another one here. FNV would be monthly shooter and or weekly hammer to counter that. If we go to ATI, this thing's still all these weeks still within this bar, but getting closer because that caused the inside month, and now it's inside month to the downside. FCX still having all sorts of problems, just no actionable signals there. So you can see this weekly here. Weekly like this. Here's your weekly triangle on FCX, just no actionable signal. We got that momentum shooter last week to drop it down a little bit more. If we go to the steels, SLX went weak and down like we were looking for last week because it's also RevStrat month, which means open and close in the inside bar and then taking that out. That's RevStrat month below 40.32. So that's right there. That's why you can letter X would still be inside month. But you can see how it's slowly dropping back into this stuff. And this would be an issue here. It starts coming back into the old triangle business like that. You've got Nucor here holding up a little bit better, but you can see down in here a lot of air down in here if they want to start hitting these things. You got RS doing similarly, and that's an inside day to keep an eye on to start off. If we go to the financials, this is going to get interesting. Financials. And FAS just misses the inside week, so does KRE, much like the SPY. But the XLF itself, them banks, going inside week. So we're seeing a lot of inside bars in these financials. And so as we just got a delayed jobs report, we're going to see how the big boys want to start positioning these financials now, because you've got JP Morgan, inside week, Bank of America. You got Wells Fargo. And then you have Citicorp, which was not quite. It was actually a little bit stronger because it goes to the highs, the recent highs, I should say. And now would be RevStrat day to the upside, inside day counter with hammer to see if there's how these things are going to break. So what we want to look for is do we have a simultaneous break, and that means all these subsectors within the financials break at the same time, because you can see we've got all these banks, and you've got PNC doing this. PNC goes side-by-side weekly shooting stars if they want to finally bring this thing in. We've got SIVB inside week near the highs. You got BK. You've got STT. You've got Ameriprise. All inside weeks. And then even across the board, you've got Allstate. You got Chubb. So the insurance names. MMC, Marsh & McLennan. We've got Prudential, Matt, all of this stuff. So hopefully we get a simultaneous break one way or the other one. And then we've got Goldman Sachs goes inside there as well. And what we have seen is Visa just been chugga here. So Visa hasn't flinched at all. A little boring, just walking up. And then MA backed off a little bit more, but now goes daily hammer and goes inside week here to see if MA wants to keep chugging with the Visa. So certainly going to be keeping an eye on those financial weekly breaks for sure. So this week is setting up to be very interesting, because we do have the diamonds inside, we have the Qs the Qs inside, and we've got the financials inside. Last week was all about the oils and the smackdown coming on the underlier, the UCO getting smacked, and XLE coming back to lows, now coming back into this neighborhood in here, but OIH was really nice, the momentum shooting star. We talked about that. So we've blown a lot of the oil stuff out. However, we can take a look at the big boys and go Chevron. So Chevron gets hit here, but you can see it's still within this 6-month range. Chevron, if you get on here. So you can see this tighter triangle action here, slight lower lows, slight higher highs, and now right back into that range. So Chevron holding it better than some of the debacles we've seen out there. Exxon still falling and can't get up. Looked like it might have a shot down in here, but as you can see here, it's still doji on the month. So technically doing nothing, right? They spiked it up, thought she was going to run, then they tried to kill it. Now come right back in the range. Looks like a good candidate for an inside week to me, but we'll see. If we go to BP, BP actually hammers. So it only made the slight low and then here, and then hammers back up. So handily with the oil getting smashed, closing out towards the high. So we'll see if there's any continuation there. If we go to Concho CXO, and some of this stuff that, now that the underlier starts to drop like that, if the oil keeps dropping, we're looking at all this kind of things that we've been looking at for a while and being like, look, this thing rallied from under 70 to 145. And so starting to back off there. I don't have any new actionable signals for you, but certainly with depending on the depth of the sell-off in the underlier, certainly anybody who's had that run, that's why we're watching it up in here. Look for some additional actionable signals. You got MRO. And MRO is still doji on the month too. MRO goes doji hammer on the day for the week with the underlier getting cracked here. So we'll see if there's anything here. Obviously going to be a lot of eyeballs on this neighborhood, but we'll see how that hammer plays out. If we go to PE, and PE still 2 week inside pattern, still two weeks completely in this bar's range. So this thing hasn't cracked either. So we'll keep an eye on either side of these 2 weeks here. If it can start to do more of this business in here, it would be nice. Crush her down into there. If we go to Rice here, and Rice here would still be inside on the month and still green. Going to that weekly. Shooting star, so not quite inside here, but you got the slight lower low. Now you got the shooting star to see if it's going to continue to slowly walk down like this and go doji and dump. It's shooting star, so that would go below 1954. If we go to Slobby, and Slob had the weekly momentum hammer last week. That was nice and just pretty gradual, though. You can see how it's been a real gradual monthly move up. Now coming down to challenge stuff like this. So just no new actionable signals there. Halliburton, once again, coming off of that, we were up into here. Just no new actionable signals there, and Halliburton pops up a little bit at the end of the week. And so, like I said, a lot of this stuff, especially if oil stabilizes, good candidates for inside week. So a little tough there. If we go to NOV, and NOV did what we're looking for, that shooting star off that top range and puke all the way down into there. That was nice. The question is follow through at this point. And on the day here, it goes inside day. So the question is it going to challenge down in here and try and take all these guys out, or we're going to go inside and right back up into the middle of the range. Remember, this one had a real tough time for a long time getting off the mat, and it's been really fighting to get up in here, and you can see still hasn't been able to challenge that. Now it's an outside month fractal triangle to the downside as of right now, but we'll see how that inside day plays out to start off the week. MPC. You can see this doji month tight. And if you go to the daily, though, you'll see this inside day. So the question is, how's this tight triangle going to play out? You're going to try to expand it down in here off the inside day, or use this inside day to try and rip back towards there, because we've got Tesoro here inside day, but Tesoro yet to make a decision here either. This is still inside month. So certainly going to be watching the break of the inside month for Tesoro. If you go to Natty says, yay, you guys. Natty thinks there's some sort of winter coming, and maybe there is, maybe there isn't, but it's been rallying back, nothing too significant to write home about. In the stocks there, you got EQT still having all sorts of trouble and going inside day on the lows, and that's still monthly momentum shooter to the downside if they want to continue that. If we go to XRT Retail, and XRT doesn't fall apart. Here's the inside month, and it goes below it. 42.23, we're going to be aware of that. That's down to the downside there, and then the daily here, just kind of stuck in here. So the question is going to start expanding this, use this momentum shooting star into the lows. It would also take the month and down, because we've seen a lot of debacles over there. And we got Walmart, and Walmart doing nothing. And you can see this. So the question is, what is this tight doji range here? Is going to go down, doji measured move and clobber this thing, or try and go morning star reversal back to the upside. So either side of that doji can get some attention. Target still peg, and Target, the 3-year plan, not going so well for them. No new actionable signals there, but certainly in the doghouse, if you will. If we go to Costco OE was so good, and this is why you want to know when patterns exhaust, right? And goes up, it goes inside measured move month, but as soon as that new month started, that measured move was gone. Anybody on the short side got taken out, and then that left the clean break down into here and now drifting into oblivion. If we go to Burlington Coat Factory, these guys still hanging around. They think they know something. Here, inside week right off the highs to see if we can go up, sideways, measured move, put everybody else out of business. If we go to Buffalo Wild Wings, March Madness coming. However, it's a rev strat to the downside. Inside bar, which is also a shooting star, followed by an outside shooting star. So certainly going to get my attention on the short side below 152.05. If we go to DDS, Dillard's Department Store, God help us, here. This would be the monthly shooter here below 53.36. It's there right now. But if there is any hope, you do have this weekly hammer to try and come back into this stuff here. See the broadening formation here, like so. If there's any hope, or is it just going to keep walking down like the rest of the garbage out there? So on the daily, it's a two-day inside pattern. It would technically be a rev strat because it opens and closes within this bar after a few cents of taking that out, but 2-bar pattern in there to see how it handles that. If we go to Dollar Tree, Dollar Tree outside day trying to go to the downside. And if you go to the monthly, the problem here, you can see these 2 doji months here and couldn't take this. Now the question is going to start challenging this stuff to the downside and try and get the down sideways measured move out of that. And if you go to the weekly, see this here, inside week. So they challenge this stuff up in here. The question, they're going to challenge all this stuff and get worse. So inside week, the low of the inside week Dollar Tree is going to be $75. If we go to Brinker, eat still having all sorts of trouble here too. This is an inside week, I believe. Yes, inside week. So the question is, it going to start using that to start smashing through all this stuff? And right here, you can see took all that stuff out. But at any time, you want to be aware of a reclaim, and that's why we keep an eye on the inside weaker to see what is this business in here. Is this try and hold and rally back, or is just sitting there before the next wave? Inside week for EAT. Foot Locker still hanging tough, and Foot Locker would be rev strat day, inside day countered with hammer just to start off the week. If we go to Fossil, for retailers going to zero, watch inside day for the Fossil, and it's just miserable as it just continues to puke. It's monthly, just all sorts of trouble here, and it starts off as an inside day if they want to start the drive to zero. If we go to Home Depot, no problems here. Inside week and in the Dow, and you can see what a crusher that's been. And the lows here going inside week 2 to see if that has the power to do this. Join the Home Depot party up top. If we go to Ross Stores has been one of those that's hung around there too. Monthly here, just still hanging around the highs. But now we go inside week. So now we'll find out what they're made of, to go down inside week and measured move and take a shot down at this stuff, or is it just right back up? So inside week for Raw Stores to keep an eye on, and VFC Corp, another one that's had some challenges, does come up here and then go inside week. So what are these 3? It's going to be up, sideways, measured move up of this, or is this the corrective activity like here and then start rolling back down? Either side of that inside week get my attention. All right, if we go to IBB, and IBB going to have a lot to say about the Qs too. Inside week momentum hammer for IBB, and remember that's trying to take this monthly stuff up into here, trying to get through all this stuff finally. And XLV, which has been much stronger, going Momo hammer on the highs, and that's a bunch of them old school drugs we've been talking about. So if we go to the big boys, BIIB, and BIIB, I think just missed us. Nope, it is an inside week. Inside week, so you can see this bigger triangle here in BIIB. Remember, a lot of this stuff just stuck in here forever and trying to get this monthly hammer to go. So, but you got the inside week with the IBB and BIIB to try and get out of there. We've got GILD, pig, still a pig. Now 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks completely within this bar's range. So we're still going to watch the highs of these 4 weeks and lows of these 4 weeks to make an attempt at that. And right now, you're right in the middle, nowhere near it. If we go to Regeneron Regeneron finally trying to get its moxie a little bit, and once again, you're gonna have a tough time taking this big range out 1, 2, 3, 4 months, but at least at this point you are monthing up above 384.58. But once again, you got to get outside of this eventually, and how are you going to do that? Well, at least you got an inside month right now. Go to Amgen. We know that's been leading go 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 go, and Amgen here the daily, you can see this thing continues to drift higher, almost no red on any of these days, albeit a lot of dojis too, which makes it a little difficult to trade, but still handily outperforming. And if you go to the weekly, you'll see this. There's your momentum weekly hammer to see if they want to really start gunning this thing. If we go to Celgene, and Celgene, somewhat doji weak, and so almost got there. We've been watching this forever, and so we want to see what a break of this would look like, because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. You get the idea. All of this stuff completely within this bar's range. So we're looking for setups here to take out 127. We just don't have any as of right now. If we go to ACAD, here's the parade of inside weeks, as well we should. ACAD inside week. You've got AGIO inside week. We've got ALKS. There's an inside week trying to get out of this range, and if it can get going there, remember it's inside month and up above 58.81, so it would have to re-break that. But so if it takes the week, that would do it. So we'd be looking for that weekly monthly break if we can get strong enough. If we go to ALNY. Like I said, a whole bunch of these inside weeks to keep an eye on. Athena Health, it's a little bit different than these guys, but health related. That would be RevStrat week. Inside week countered with hammer would go RevStrat week above 117.75. AstraZeneca, and we've been watching this triangle for a long time. And now goes inside week AZN, and here's the triangle I'm talking about. This baby right in here to see if she can start gunning up towards there. Now you got the inside week momentum hammer potential. If we go to BMRN, just another inside week. It's a bit messy there, stuck in a range, but we want to see if there's a distinct break. You got Bristol Myers still trying to come back up on this. The huge triangle, and the lower one here, the higher highs, the lower lows, the higher highs, lower lows. And Bristol Myers right now presently is still inside month to the upside. So long as it's above that, it's 57.21. If we go to Clovis, and here's the big monthly triangle in here. Now it's getting back in the middle. The question is, can she get out of there? And Clovis does this. The inside bar and then hammer. So RevStrat and not quite inside, but it's anytime you have an actionable signal, hammer or shooter next to an inside bar, that's RevStrat because they couldn't take it down. So now we're going to see above that hammer, 62.49 Clovis. If we go to EGRX, and this is an inside week, and the reason we want to keep an eye on that is it goes inside week, it's going to be inside month and up as well. So that's 2. So certainly going to keep an eye on EGRX. If we go to ESPR, that's the huge run. Maybe they're ready to bring her in a little bit. We'll see. Goes weekly shooting star. If they want to try and bring that in after the momentum hammer, that was beautiful. If we go to ICPT, also inside week here. Monthly still, remember, trying just finally gets out of that and see if we can make any higher highs. But like I said, we're going to see a whole bunch of these things. I want to see if we get the simultaneous break where they all go at the same time. ILMN. Remember, gets stuck in this range forever. Finally gets through here, and now momentum hammer inside week above 167.99. If we go to IONS having some problems here, and IONS goes 1 bar RevStrat monthly the downside. Inside bar takes it the upside, then pukes to the downside. So we can still look short below 43.29. Otherwise, it comes back in here, and guess what? Then it goes inside month next month, but we'll see. Hopefully, we get the puking on that. KERX. Tight inside month here, and that inside month is above 565 right here, and also inside week. So right around here, this take out the inside month, so we'll keep an eye on that. If we go to Kite just ripping, and so Kite's just ripping. So right now we got no actual signals, it's just straight up Momo to see if that can continue. If we go to MYGN is interesting down in here, monthly. Looked like they was going to try and put her out of her misery once and for all, but then it goes up like that, and so for the weekly, it goes inside week, and you'll see this here. like so, to see what is this. Is this lower level triangle where it just drops back into oblivion, or can it finally break out of here and start screaming higher? Well, we'll see how everything goes with that. So either side of that. If you go to MLNK, another ripper coming off the bottom. You can see this strength here, the inside day there, very nice. And now you got a momentum hammer on the highs to start off the week. MLNK, PTLA, another inside days. You can see all this stuff just jammed in here, which gives you the inside week here. See if there's any more in the tank for the measured move. If you go to rare, another inside week there. It's trying to gradually move up in here. See, like I said, the hopes is we get a lot of these things to go up, sideways measured move, and start rocking. If we go to Sarepta, another inside week there. And the good thing about the inside week for Sarepta would be this. If it takes it out, you'd be taking out the monthly hammer countering the shooter above 33.65. If you go to XON almost left for dead. But at this point, would be inside month to the upside, 23.97 here. And so you can keep an eye on that if they all want to start going. All right, if we go to tech, XLK still doing the chugga and going into the highs. You can see this. No inside week because it went to the highs in SMH. Semiconductors went inside week and up and still doing the slow chugger. So that's keeping those cues alive. I mean, look at the daily. It's like, oh no, the market's coming in. I'm like, is it? Not for these guys. So we'll see. Let's go to Facebook, and Facebook goes to new all-time highs. Nothing really to say about that, except it is. You know, it was walking up this forever. Then you got your Dipsy Doo, your inside month, and off to the races she's been ever since. So now there's no actual signal. You just got a doji on the new all-time highs. So it is what it is. Amazon. Also been stuck a little bit here. Remember, it was inside week. Tried to poke up above, so it's a 2-week inside pattern. These two bars completely within this bar's range, so you can watch for either breaking that or down into here. If we go to Netflix goes inside week. All right, now we'll see what Netflix is made of here. Because Netflix has been drying up. You see, when inside week and down, and that's how we got some sort of move out of it. But on the daily, you can see this just doing nothing, right? It's doing nothing in here, but at least we've got the inside week to gauge for some potential combinations. If we go to Google, the Googster trying to take the inside month to the upside here, and that's the inside month and up of 853.79 above that. So we're handily above that. We just need additional actionable signals, but that is in force. If we go to AVGO, you can just see some of this powerhouse, all momentum at this point. Not a lot of actionable signals here, but you can just see AVGO powering, AMAT. You can see Adobe, just a slow drifting death, and to see if we can keep this momentum going. We could use some additional actionable signals in that stuff, but Momo it is, and we got Baba. Baba goes inside week, and so you can see this thing finally got out of this range and then pulls back. So we're going to see if this inside week pulls it all through back and through this stuff, or if it can start launching it through this stuff finally up into there. Because what you had was monthly, big ripper, and then doji. So the question is, can we go up sideways and start going measured move and start racing towards that stuff? So certainly going to watch that inside week in Baba. If you go to Cree, the Massa Cree sets up potential rev strat week, and so inside week countered with hammer. So get my attention above 27.14 Cree. If you go to Cirrus Logic in the semis, this could be interesting too. Inside week here. Now, so you can see this outside week, and it's below that. But if we get back into that range, that would certainly be interesting. So if you look at the daily, you're going to see this, right? So the question is, going to use that inside week to break this downward series here, or is just this about where it rallies to and then go shooting star and drop back in. So inside week for Cirrus. If we go to Cypress Semi, CY, got yourself another inside week here if that wants to keep chugging. If we go to Cyber goes rev strat week here. Hammer counters the inside week, and that would be above 51.09. KLAC Semi, just more chugga. Just more momentum. If we go to MLNX is getting interesting here because MLNX here would be monthly momentum hammer here above 50. It's there right now. And so certainly going to be looking for any follow through you can get on that. It's a nice combination. Inside day takes the monthly hammer on Friday, but we can look for setups above that level. If we go to NVIDIA, NVIDIA, the daily triangle looks like these. Like here. Now, how do we get out of this? Because you can see this lower series here, but can we hold here and start jamming back up into there? That's what we'll be looking at, because the weekly, when inside week and down, but comes back up into it. So somewhat soft rev strat here if it wants to start giddy up and get along again. If we go to Corvo, semi, and 2-bar inside pattern, and I believe that took it out, so it's technically a rev strat here. These 2 weeks trying to get out of this stuff. Sina, look at it. All right, SINA. Sina would be momentum weekly shooting star down here if they can take it out here, which means they took some shorties out here and then come right back to the lows. It's also a rev strat because this was an inside week countered with a shooting star, so that would trigger below 68.13. And the reason that would be important is that it was also rev strat month here below 68.67. So certainly has my attention, that Sina. If we go into Taiwan Semiconductor, TSM, another inside week there. If we go to Texas Instruments, inside month and up and just doing that slow charge like everything else, but it's inside month and up, has that signal in force, and you've got Xilinx here going inside week here if there's any hope for that. So you can certainly see how all that kind of stuff plays out. Home builders, if you go to ITB has been stronger because it's got the Home Depot and stuff like that in there. That's why it's going to those recent highs as opposed to XHB, which still has some room. Watching this KBH still. So remember, this monthly finally broke this stuff and now starting to run towards up into here. No actionable signal is going to be the problem, but we'll see how that goes. If you go to Masco, MAS, you've got this, the weekly hammer counters the shooter. So oftentimes that can be pretty powerful. So we'll be watching MAS above 34.19. Toll Brothers still on this longer term monthly triangle. See if it's going to be able to make it all the way back up with XHB. Like this here, all this. Higher highs, lower lows, higher high, lower lows, higher high, lower low, bam. Now if we can do that one more time, that'd be a nice move. We could use some more actionable signals though. And the gamers, LVS here goes inside week, and Win does this inside week as well. And the reason, albeit middle of all this garbaggio range, however, it would be a combination here because if it takes that week, Win Resorts potentially has the inside week, inside month combination here. So certainly want to keep an eye on that. Just a few more today. CTRP here, 2-bar pattern, but would be rev strat to the upside above this hammer, inside bar, then hammer, above 48.33. If we go to Sam having some issues here, and you can see that inside week to the downside, and that was a combination because the monthly is an inside month to the downside trying to break through all this stuff, and maybe all them craft beer places that are on every corner now putting the heat on these guys. But right now, Sam, month and down. If we go to Taser still rev strat month to the downside. Shooter counters the inside month, and potential combination there as well because you've got an inside week. If we go to VAR, I talked about this last week, and it's still doing what we're looking for. It's just walking back up into this range, and if this is the middle of the range and this is the lower end, perchance she comes all the way and takes all that stuff out. No new actionable signal, but you can see this slow drive back right up into the range. If we go to WB also on the hit list potential, because remember last week this thing went inside week to the downside and wasn't weak enough to hit the rev strat, the monthly shooter in the inside month, and that would be 47.15. It's getting close to that. Go to TripAdvisor. TripAdvisor, we've known on the monthly has been having problems for a long time. However, it does pop up here on the daily here and go inside. So the question can go up, sideways, inside, and measured move of this up and towards that, or is just going to triangle them out and roll back down. Interesting day to start off on Monday there. And last but not least, Tesla. And Tesla are getting closer to taking the monthly shooter to the downside here and come back in the middle of the range, which would suck, but it is what it is. So right now, we might maybe get a nice move if it does start dropping like that, because you got an inside week, potentially monthly shooter combo. So for this week, obviously, we're going to watch those inside weeks and the Qs and the diamonds and all that kind of stuff. And then once the Qs or the diamonds go one way or the other, who's doing it? Is it continued tech? Is it the biotech's picking up? And then if we go to the downside, who's dropping them off? And certainly, as far as the Dow is concerned, and the FAS is certainly going to have something to say about it too. All right, that's going to do it for this week, and hopefully see you at T3 Live next weekend. All right, everybody, I'm Rob Smith, the In the Black Quant Edge VTF here, T3 Live with this week's Market Breakdown.